Well, unfortunately, my fifth, what was it? My fifth attempt at brain surgery failed. Lobotomy. That's the word I was looking for. See? There you go. Hey, welcome to the big show. It is your good friend. It is your pal. It is your compadre. It's TC, everybody. And it is a Wednesday. It is a hump day. Wednesday. Tell me you don't, when you write out Wednesday, tell me you don't say Wednesday. I know you do. Admit it. Admit it. All right. There you go. We are here every, Monday through Friday? Well, not this Monday or yesterday. There's a story behind that is probably very uninteresting, but maybe I'll tell it. Maybe I won't. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, that is 5 in the Central Time Zone, ladies and gentlemen. And then 3 Pacific, so not too shabby. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Cinderella versus Ozzy. Who you got? Sort of. We also talking about Maiden versus Priest on a battle of 2 iconic records released today in history. So there you go. We'll show you some guy who couldn't keep his freak on a leash. Come on, baby, now. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. That's coming up in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. What else? Anything else coming up? Oh, there's some good stuff. Oh, I'm going to play a new game. Name that tune. I am going to show you a scene from a movie. You need to tell me the movie and, wait for it, the band or the artist, and then the song. Now, of course, it's going to be an iconic song from an iconic movie. So there you go. Makes it pretty interesting. Anything else going on? Yeah, so I had the lobotomy last Friday, and that's why I missed a couple of extra days here. Of course, there was Labor Day in there. Had the lobotomy, and this was my 5th lobotomy. Still hasn't taken. The doctor says I've got like some tater tot hot dish like stuck right in here. So when they go up, they can't get access to clip. So what's happening there is the tater tot hot dish, a lump of tater tot hot dish is stuck there. So he's pulling out the tater tot hot dish. He said, oh, that looks pretty good. I said, well, I make a damn good fine tater tot hot dish, doctor. He said, I understand. So anyways, all right. I'm all hepped up today. We'll see how things are going. We'll keep it going, baby. I always love reliving the past. Okay, so this is from 1991. Now, this you would have had to have been over in the UK. Would you have gone to either of these shows? Yes or no? And then if you had to choose which show you would have gone to back in 91, Cinderella kind of at their peak a little bit, maybe starting to fade a little bit. Slaughter opening at their peak, clearly. And then on the other side, you've got Ozzy Osbourne headlining. Now, of course, there's a sentimentality because we lost Ozzy about a month ago. I understand. You got to say Ozzy almost in some ways, but I'm going Cinderella and Slaughter here because Cinderella over the years has just become a greater and greater band, in my humble opinion. Slaughter, great band. I know Jen is a big fan of Slaughter. Who doesn't love Slaughter? To the nth degree. I heard Burning Bridges today when I was out and about. So anyways, and then so Ozzy on the bill, you got Thunder, and it says with David Coverdale. That makes no sense. I think that's Thunder, Dirty Love. Isn't that band? Anyways, I know Richard loved that band. So you got with David Coverdale. I don't think that means with David Coverdale. I think it just means David Coverdale is doing a solo set, I'm guessing. I have no idea what that means. Choir Boys and Magnum. So, but yeah, if I would go to both these shows in 91. Very cool shows. But if I had to choose now, I would probably stick with Cinderella and Slaughter as my choice there because, yeah, I've never seen Ozzy live. And I think I saw Cinderella open for David Lee Roth. I think I've seen Slaughter. I must have seen Slaughter. Geez, I've been married to Jen for almost 25 years. I better have seen Slaughter. I think we saw Slaughter. Did we see Slaughter, Jen? I'm not sure. Anyways, there you go. So this story is interesting to me because, well, I love Tesla. And apparently, this comes from Blabbermouth, by the way. Original Tesla members Brian Wheat and Tommy Skeel working on a brand new band with, get this, ex-Wasp guitarist Chris Holmes, of course, famous for Western Civilization Part 2, the metal years. The infamous scene in the pool where he's drinking the bottles of vodka and stuff. And obviously, I loved Chris Holmes when he was in Wasp. Great stuff. And then ex-Saliva singer, Josie Scott. So I'm like, this could be interesting. I love the fact that Brian and Tommy are have made amends. No, of course, everybody would love to see Tommy back in Tesla. I know I would, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So, but apparently, yeah, Tesla bassist and founding member Brian Wheat has teamed up with those guys. Earlier today, Wheat shared a photo of him in Skiatch. Anyways, and the band is going to be called Terminal. So we'll see if we get a record out of this. I, for one, would be on board. I don't know a lot of Saliva songs, so I love the music of Tesla. I love Wasp. So I think I'm good to go there, but I just don't know a lot of Saliva stuff. So I'm not sure how Josie's going to sound there. So don't know if you're like, ooh, that would be sexy, or like, that's a turd muffin wrapped in a turd. So we'll see. Anyway, so that's one of the stories today. Also, I noticed I've never heard the song in my life, probably. Duality by Slipknot. I've just never been into Slipknot. If you're a Slipknot fan, tell me a gateway song. Is the gateway song into Slipknot Duality? I've never listened to Slipknot. Not that not that I don't like them or anything. I'm just indifferent. I never paid attention to Slipknot. You know, the masks and stuff. Corey Taylor, I know the name there. But yeah, apparently this came off of the Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, in May of 2024, and it's joined the Spotify Billions Club. Actually, what was it? Oh, The Weeknd with Blinding Lights. That hit 5 billion. That's the first song to ever hit 5 billion plays on Spotify. So not too shabby, but yeah, there you go. I don't know. Tell me your thoughts here in just a second. Also, mentioning Cinderella, I got to say, I love Cinderella. And I wanted to see what kind of Cinderella's doing these days in 2025. Obviously, the band is no longer together. It's just Tom Kiefer going on the road. Obviously, Tom was famous, had some famous, what's the word I'm trying to find? He had some issues with his voice that became kind of infamous in some ways, but now he's doing his thing. So that's kind of what the set list looks like on a Cinderella show these days. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing Fred and was it Eric? I think that's the other guy in the band, the bass player, the rhythm section, kind of come together with Tom for one final show. So, but anyways, there you go. I know. What was it? I think LA Guns and Tom Kiefer are coming to Phoenix here. So, Touching the Divine, I'm guessing that's probably a Tom Kiefer song, obviously. The More Things Change, great song. Coming Home, great song. The Death of Me, Bad Seamstress Blues, falling apart at the seams. Jen loves that song. Rise, Nobody's Fool, very nice. Night Songs, I do love that song, man. You know what Night Songs reminds me of? It reminds me of a little bit of Cherry Pie by Warrant. I think it's Cherry Pie by Warrant, though Night Songs obviously came out 4 years earlier. So maybe Janie Lane was listening to that when he wrote Cherry Pie a little bit. Kind of sounds like it a little bit. At least that's, to me, it does. Somebody Save Me, Last Mile, boom. Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, Shake Me, Shelter Me, Gypsy Road, and then finally a Beatles cover to end the set list. You can't tell me that's damn good. That is so damn good. I mean, there were so many great 80s bands that just have kind of fallen apart at the seams, no pun intended. Well, maybe it was intended because I'm not clever, even if I got a chunk of tater tot hot dish stuck right there in the front of my brain. But what are you going to do? I think it's cool. You ever seen Tommy Kiefer? I love Tommy Kiefer. Great stuff there. And then one more news story today. So Roger Goodell came out and said, we would love to have Taylor Swift play the Super Bowl. You know, what it is what it is. So there's a site called Polymarket that you can bet on everything. Basically, you can bet on anything you want. You know, who will be the first song to 10 billion plays on Spotify? Crazy stuff like that. Anything about politics, sports, but whatever. Anyways, so they do all this kinds of stuff. And so this is the current leader in the clubhouse, as they say. I think we might get an announcement as soon as tomorrow or this weekend on who will be at the Super Bowl, at least the halftime show, coming up, because the NFL season starts tomorrow. I think is it Dallas and Philadelphia? I forget. I think it might be one of those two teams playing, maybe both of them. But right now, the odds-on favorite, at least on Polymarket, is 54%. So basically, you can bet, and then if you want to sell before you bet to try to make some money. Anyways, it's a whole complicated process. It's kind of interesting if you're kind of a nerd, you like kind of gambling, but also kind of almost playing like the markets and stuff. It's kind of in that way. The thing is with this, though, as far as Taylor Swift, and Metallica is on the list because it's in San Francisco this year. So that's why I'm mentioning this. The thing with Taylor Swift is that she is not under the Rock Nation umbrella, and Rock Nation is the Jay-Z company. And Jay-Z has controlled that at the Super Bowl basically for what? I don't know, 7, 8 years or something. That's why you've gotten the artists we've gotten, because they're friends of Jay-Z, or they work, or they're under the Jay-Z Rock Nation management label. So to me, it seems that Jay-Z is probably going to be the most likely scenario here. It's not going to be Taylor Swift, I don't think, even though Taylor fans think they have it figured out, because Taylor talks in codes apparently. And when she did that podcast to announce her new album with, what was it, Travis Kelce and the brother Jason Kelce, she was like saying weird stuff about sourdough bread and whatever. And how much she makes sourdough bread and what percentage of her life is sourdough bread. And the Swifties kind of turned it into, oh my God, she's playing the Super Bowl. I could explain it, but why, right? Why? Anyway, so Post Malone, 27% on the list. Sabrina Carpenter, 23. Miley Cyrus, who cares? Morgan Wallen, 12%. At least it would be something different if it was Morgan Wallen and a little country music, so that wouldn't be so bad. Metallica's only at 7%. I just don't think it's going to happen. We haven't had anybody in the rock world play the Super Bowl in, I don't know, 10, 15 years at least. It's been a long time since a band like that did something. And then No Doubt, I guess, is on the list at 7%. Green Day, I don't think so. I'm not interested in that. Luke Combs, okay, I'd take that. The Killers at 7%. I would take the Killers. The Killers are a really good band. Oasis, that's never going to happen. Are you kidding? The Foo Fighters, I hope not. I mean, the Foo Fighters are kind of overexposed. I love Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, but forget about it. Gracie Abrams, blah, blah, blah. Look at this. Bad Bunny, I don't know. Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish. Anyway, so that's the list there. I don't know. There you go. Let's check the chat. Why haven't you checked the chat? Because the children are here to check the chat. Anyways, let me scroll back up. Beat after beat. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Let me check the chat here. Welcome back. Thank you. I'm a little welcome back, Cotter. Don Dokken has called it quits. Oh, I saw that story. I forgot to mention it. Yeah, Don Dokken has announced that he's calling it quits. We shall see. The Who called it quits in 1982, and here we are. The Who still on tour, so we'll see on that. But yeah, I love Dokken, one of my favorite bands of all time. Definitely I wouldn't say a top 10 band, but I would go as far as saying maybe a top 20 or 25 band for me, because Dokken is cool. Armageddon hanging out as well. Good to see you. Suzanne would select Slaughter if she had to go to one show. And then there you go. Cool. So very nice. All right, cool. Yeah, the corn guy. Come on now. Stay away from, it's like, isn't that a Stay Away? Isn't that a Godsmack song? Anyway, so there you go. All right, so I'm going to close out of this because my stuff, the news is done. I'm going to move this window over here. Hey, how you doing? And then I'm going to drop down to the battle of the day. So on September 3rd in 1984, Iron Maiden debuted Power Slave, power at the Raleigh Truck Pull this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at the Metrodome. One show not enough, two shows still not enough. That's right. Versus 1990, September 3rd, Judas Priest, Painkiller. Who you got? Who would you select? So I enjoy Painkiller. I missed that album the first time around. I was really into I really gotten into metal and rock, but maybe because Judas Priest was kind of off the grid a little bit, perhaps. I was like, well, whatever. I was listening to more Metallica. I was listening to, stuff like that. And Megadeth, obviously Rust in Peace had come out that year, so I was more into that. And then Power Slave. I was a passing fan of Iron Maiden over the years. But now that I start going back and listening to the stuff, it is so damn good. So to me, in a battle of September 3rd, baby, what's the better album? To me, it's a no-brainer, man. It's Power Slave and it's Maiden. Just because 2 Minutes to Midnight, I love. Aces High, the title track is great. Now, Painkiller is fantastic. Touch of Evil is actually a great song as well. But Painkiller is like one of those all-timer songs with the drum opening. It is fantastic. But to me, The proof is in the pudding, and nobody says that to me and gets away with it. But anyways, I digress. The proof is in the pudding, Mr. Rob Halford. And unfortunately, Maiden takes it for me. I don't think there's any question. I think 9 times out of 10, I would choose Iron Maiden just because it's an iconic album. The band is still in their 20s when it's recorded. Everybody's kind of young. They're maybe 25, 26. So you're getting the best of Maiden because all the albums, the great albums of all time, were recorded, between the ages of 18 and 29. That's just the way it goes. You can look back at any album. I mean, who the hell makes a good record when they're 50? Nobody. I'm sorry. Yes, there's good records, but there's not iconic records. Maybe Eric Clapton made a great record when he was 50. However, his best stuff is going to be when he was in his 20s. And that's when Maiden was hot. That's when Maiden were in their 20s. By this time, Judas Priest were probably well into their 30s. Obviously, the new drummer coming in helped give them some life. But Power Slave all day long, baby. Armageddon going Power Slave as well. And beat after beat going Power Slave as well. Very nice. That is simply wonderful. I think we have a consensus. Boom. Let's continue. Okay, so here you go. This is my new bit. I got a new bit I've worked out. It just came to me like it came to the guy at the corn show. But it came to me before the show, and I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm going to take an iconic scene from a movie or maybe a TV show. You never know. I could use the end of The Sopranos and Don't Stop Believing by Journey. You kind of get the idea. Take an iconic screen, an image from a movie, in this particular case. Now it's up to you to name the movie, okay? Name the song that's playing, and then name the artist. You got it? All right, cool. Jen's going to be like, of course he selected this as the first one. Come on, it's fun. All right, here you go. You ready? You ready? All right. Name that tune. I can name the movie really quickly. I know the song. What's the song? Oh, that's what it is. And then I know the artist. So there you go. Let me know if you know beat after beat. Jan, anybody else hanging out with us? Or if you're watching later, of course, you can watch the show whenever you want. Boom, 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 boom. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. And of course, you can check it out. You can actually watch it on Spotify now too, or listen on Spotify. Also available Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And then, and then if you want to leave a comment, you can certainly do that as well. So do you know the movie from the scene? And then finally, do you know the song and who sang the song? So there you go. It looks like Beat After Beat is first. He knows it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I do love that movie. You know what I love about movies from the 80s is that the comedy movies were like an hour and a half. Breakfast Club, hour and a half. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, an hour and a half. And then we got into the 2000s, and Judge Apatow, I blame Judd because Judd, now he's a great filmmaker, but the guy never met an editor that he didn't hate, because all these Judge Apatow movies are like 2.5 hours. A lot of them are actually 2.5 hours. And it's just like, my God, find an editor that's just going to chop the shit out of this movie, because these movies are way too long, Judd. I'm thinking of that Adam Sandler movie where he plays a comedian. A little bit of a far stretch there, and like Seth Rogen's in it and Jonah Hill's in it, I think, as well. And he goes to MySpace and he's doing a show with James Taylor. And so anyways, it's a good movie, but it's like an hour too long. So there you go. And Beat After Beat nailed it, baby. Good job, Beat After Beat. So there you go. Who's the big winner today? Beat After Beat is the big winner today. Name that tune. It is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And the song is, of course, Moving in Stereo by the fabulous, the wonderful Cars, sung by Mr. Benjamin Orr. So there you go. Not too shabby. New vinyl announcements. So this is some of the October, what is it? The Rocktober, that's what I'm trying to say, announcements that are coming next month. Porno for Pyro is coming. This is the Vinyl Reserve. It's actually going to be about $35, I think, but a very nice copy, self-titled. It's not going to be on color vinyl as well, but it's going to be on high fidelity or high quality vinyl, as opposed to some of that eco crap that's out there. Also, Fleetwood Mac, baby. Jen is interested in this record, she told me. That's not Big Generator. I got the wrong name there. But this is Fleetwood Mac. This is a Rocktober release. It is Tusk, and it is a 2 LP. It is on blue vinyl. Very sexy, in fact. I hate that cover, though. I love the dog, but every other choice, every other design choice on this Fleetwood Mac record is horrible. It's horrible. I don't know why they did that, but they did it. And there's nothing we can do about it until, well, let me call up Stevie Nicks and say, Stevie, darling, I need you to redesign the cover of Fleetwood Mac Tusk because the album cover sucks. One of the worst album covers in the history of the world, except for the dog. I love the dog. The dog is great. Everything else got to go. All right, cool. Ministry, A Mind is a Terrible Thing to, what's the name of that record? A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. It's getting a reissue with extra tracks on it. Very nice for Rocktober. 2 LP with a bonus second LP. So if you're a Ministry fan, also Psalm 69 is actually getting a release as well. So there you go. And then finally, the Ramones, because everybody loves the Ramones, Pet Sematary. Is that the soundtrack to Pet Sematary? Is that from the movie? I think it might be from the movie. On red vinyl. That was a Stephen King movie. There's some good Stephen King movies. There's some really bad Stephen King movies. My 3 favorite Stephen King movies would probably be Misery, not in no particular order, Misery, Shawshank, and what else am I missing there? Well, now I got to look it up because that's what I do. Let me see. Stephen King movies. Stephen King movies. Oh, of course. It just came to me. The Shining. It's got to be The Shining. Those 3. Let me see if I missed anything that was simply fantastic. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Best, Misery, Shawshank, Green Mile, The Shining, Stand By Me. Ooh, if I only had to pick 3, would I pick Stand By Me or would I pick Misery? Damn, I really like Misery. I'd probably go Misery. And then, of course, Shawshank and The Shining. Anything else in there? Creepshow is actually pretty good. Pet Sematary, not so much. The Mist, no, nobody wants that. Thinner. And then, of course, there's a bunch of crap. So a lot of other stuff, but none of it's particularly great. So that's what I would do. Armageddon, definitely The Shining. Very nice. And beat after beat, you can pick up some Ministry, baby, because Ministry is great. All right, cool. All right, a couple other things before we get out of here for the day. I've got some concert announcements coming up, and then I also have the top 50 guitarists from Rolling Stone. Now, this came out 2 years ago, but let's call it what it is. Rolling Stone is a caca publication. It's one of the worst publications in the history of man. In fact, it may be the worst publication ever. They're stupid. There's nothing else I can say. They're just dumb. They're just really dumb people. What can I say? So these are their 50 greatest guitarists of all time. Now, it looks like, this came out in 2023 in the height of, I guess, of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you're going to see a lot of names on here that like, what? How is Eric Clapton that low? And I want to know Joni Mitchell that high. Well, all due respect to Joni Mitchell, very talented, but guitarists? Come on. And then what they do is they put Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield together. Come on, have some balls. And then they put Angus and Malcolm Young together from AC/DC. Ridiculous. Anyways, they've got Jimi Hendrix number 1. Okay, I can see it. Jimmy's very good. Chuck Berry number 2. Okay, now I thought about this. When you think of guitars, you don't think of Chuck Berry. However, the impact that Chuck Berry made was substantial. So I'm actually kind of okay with that one. Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, Jeff Beck. Got it. Actually, Jeff Beck, as far as a player, is probably the best player of all time if you're going that route, but it is what it is, I suppose, even though I love Eddie. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, I know the name, but I can't tell you anything about it. Nile Rodgers, come on. Nile would even laugh at this list. Nile Rodgers is a great player. The guitar masteronio, is that a word? Not really. The guitar is fantastic from Niles, but he's more of a producer. He just has that vibe, that groove. So come on. No, I don't think so. B.B. King, great guitarist. Okay. Joni Mitchell, come on. What? Dwayne Allman. I know everybody loves Dwayne Allman. I'm sorry. I'm just not a big Allman Brothers fan. All due respect. I know they were highly influential, but I'm just not that much of a fan. So guys that should have been higher in my case, or in my particular opinion, Prince. Okay. There's guys on here. There's a lot of these people. Some of these people I don't even know, and I love guitar. They got Stevie Ray Vaughan at 20. I think Stevie should have been higher. John Frusciante of the Chili Peppers. I know that the only good Chili Peppers records had John Frusciante on it, so he is the secret sauce. I get that. At least in my opinion, the only good Chili Peppers records, so I can understand that. But come on, St. Vincent at 26 over Eric Clapton? What are you kidding me? That's stupid. It's stupid. David Gilmour down at 28. Anyways, as you see, the list is just an exercise in futility. Yeah. Anyways, it's death. It doesn't deserve any more speaking of it. So we shall move on. So there you go. Hey, make sure you smash the like button if you're digging the show, and if you want to share it with a friend, boom, that'd be sexy. Alter Bridge released a new song today. It's called, I think, Silent Divide, and they've got a new album coming out, January 9th, and they're going to be touring the U.S. Now, Alter Bridge, of course, is the three guys from Creed minus the lead singer, which is Scott Stapp. And instead, with Alter Bridge, they swap in Miles Kennedy. Now, I've never been a Miles Kennedy fan when it comes to the voice. Seems like a really good guy, but I've never been that much of a fan. So, but anyways, Alter Bridge going on the road next year, I guess in April. In May. So let's see, is there a Phoenix date? I don't see a Phoenix date, so not be able to see Alter Bridge. Now, they don't do any Creed, they just do Alter Bridge, which makes sense. They're going out with Filter, who actually I love, and Seven Dust, a really cool band as well. Tim Montana, I'm not familiar with, maybe you're familiar with him. Tim Montana, is that the father of Hannah Montana? No, maybe not. Okay, cool. Also, out on the road, Gwar. You remember Gwar? Those guys. Yeah, those guys. I remember when Beavis and Butthead used to watch Gwar. I don't think Gwar got any play on MTV back in the day other than on Beavis and Butthead because they were cool. And then Helmet is actually out on the road as well. So that's kind of cool. That tour starts, I guess, in a couple weeks now. So, and is there a Phoenix date in there? Let me see. Phoenix, Arizona. Is there a Phoenix date for me? I see Texas. I do not see Phoenix. So I guess there's not a big market for Gwar fans here in Phoenix, Arizona. Helmet, anyways. And then also Dwarves and somebody else. So there you go. What else? Amigo the Devil going out on the road with Lucero? I think it's pronounced Lucero. These are in the not the upper Midwest, the Pacific Northwest of Tacoma, Bellingham, and Eugene, Oregon. So there you go. And then finally, last but not least, Leve, who I actually dig. And I know Leve is kind of a contemporary artist, but she's kind of a throwback artist as well. There is some jazz elements to her. And I think a lot of people who like kind of, I don't know, Jen and I really like her. We're a fan of hers. But she does have a Phoenix date in there. Jen tells me the tickets aren't selling as well. Last time she was here, she played like a 5,000 seat place. I think it was the Arizona Federal Theater. Now she's playing an arena. So that's a big jump from 5,000 up to maybe 15,000. So, but anyways, it's the Matter of Time tour. She's got a new record out. I dig her. So if you're looking for something a little different, a little almost like jazzy, but with a really great voice, she's kind of fantastic. So there you go. Yngwie Malmsteen. Yes, exactly. Where is Yngwie Malmsteen on the list? That's why Rolling Stone is so dumb. So dumb indeed. I agree, Jen. Steve Clark, one of the greatest guitarists of all time, in my personal opinion, because the riff master from Def Leppard. So there you go. That's it. I think that's the big show. I'm going to put it in the book, baby. We're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it sexy. And once again, let's see. You're asking, of course, what did we learn today? What did we learn? We learned that you shouldn't go to a Korn and System of a Down show. And, well, if you do go, you need to keep your freak on a leash. Let's just put it that way. So there you go. We also learned that, Iron Maiden's Power Slave is a better album than Painkiller. Of the Battle of the Peas, baby. So not too shabby. We also learned that Phoebe Cates The actress, I guess I never didn't mention that was Phoebe Cates. I know you've been thinking about me, Brad. Doesn't anybody effing knock? Exactly. So, a great movie and a lot of great lines in that movie. My favorite line in that movie: "Oh, no shirt, no shoes, no dice." Exactly. And then the last thing we learned is that Rolling Stone is probably the worst publication in the history of publications because they get everything wrong. And yes, no Yngwie Malmsteen. There's so many great guitarists. There's no Steve Vai. There's no Jeff Satriani. I get it. They needed to kind of expand and take in every type of guitarist that's ever appeared. So there you go. I'm sure that that one guitarist from that one band will soon be on the list because that's the way Rolling Stone rolls. So there you go. Not too shabby. Once again, we're here every Monday through Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come hang out, have a good time all the time, as Viv Savage would say. Enjoy the hang out in the chat a little bit, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. I'm done. Rock This Town Live. It's your good friend. It's your pal. It's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful night, and I'll